Mr. Dealey. Mr. Pete's. Will any speaker work for Atmos mixing?
For mixing?
Yes. Is it still considered a niche, Atmos mixing? And do you see it growing in the industry?
I mean, I kind of question that every day, but...
Hi, everyone. We are at Sweetwater Studios with Jason Peets, the man, the myth, the legend. I assume, for the most part, the repertoire that Shawn has, pretty much you have. Is that fair to say?
Sure. I mean, we work together for all of these Atmos mixes. I'm mainly helping out in the preparation stage, making sure that I have the right stems bounced out at the right level with the right processing, lining everything up, making sure they all start at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's the majority, I think, of where I come into play here with the Atmos mixes.
This is the second time that we've met, and the first time that I met was when I came here for the Chris Lordology masterclass, and it was fun to see that as he was like stumbling around a little bit with the computer. He was like freezing because he knows what to do, but like the softwares are different or something, and it's like you were a machine, like you know everything. It's like this guy's so well prepared, guys, that it's like it's crazy.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's taken a lot to get there. Specifically in these spaces, I'm well prepared to help people out when they're here recording. So having installed all of the gear in all of these spaces, pulled the wire myself, wired the patch bays, all that kind of stuff. I know at an intimate level where everything's run. Yeah. And that sort of helps me figure out where problems will fall and how to fix them efficiently.
And for how long have you been doing this? Because you do not only mixing, but you also do tracking, you do editing. And then you're starting to do this whole thing. You're not starting to do, you've had years training with Atmos, but for how long have you been doing it?
I've been here for 4 years.
4 years, it's not that long.
Yeah, I came here straight out of college too. So this is my first real gig in the real world.
So you went to college for like audio production?
Sort of. I have a degree in broadcast and communication arts.
Okay.
But I spent a lot of time in the studios there and recording bands and working in audio. Learned a ton on the job here, which is really great too. So
that's kind of how you started. You had a couple years under your belt, and then you did an application to Sweetwater?
Yeah, I got an internship here, and then I sort of just annoyed everybody and got a full-time job. So
would you say that you're living the dream, man?
Oh yeah, I
would say so.
It's great here. Yeah.
And now you guys are having, because I saw you guys have an intern, another one.
Yeah.
How do you feel like watching him being like, oh, he's starting the way I started?
Oh, it's great. He's a really great intern as well. We've had a lot of people come through here, and he's definitely standing out as a really great intern to have around. So.
What are some of your favorite musicians or performers that you've worked with, whether they're famous or getting there?
I mean, we just did an Atmos record for this artist Winter that I'm a big fan of. That was a cool thing to get that record out in spatial audio.
Winter?
Yeah, Winter. It's pretty cool. The record's not out yet, but I think a single dropped last week. But that was a cool thing, and seeing that go from stereo to Atmos is always
a blast.
It's great. Yeah.
Is Shawn Canadian?
Yeah, he is.
I just found that out.
Yeah, he's from Winnipeg. Yeah.
All right. You're from the States?
I grew up just north of Detroit.
Oh, on Detroit?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
So about 2.5 hours from here.
Oh, it's not too.
Hometown, yeah.
I thought it was further away, but because I'm from the South and everything's so far away.
Where
from
are you
me.
from?
Mexico.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But then I'm in El Paso, which is basically Mexico, but in the States.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then
Southern Texas.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Now that we're talking about Atmos mixing, this is a question that we covered on the workshop. But will any speaker work for Atmos mixing?
For mixing?
Yes.
Their specifications will tell you no based on max SPL of the speaker. But I would say yes.
Okay.
It depends on what your configuration is. You guys witnessed, we put together a rig with iLouds.
Yes.
And I thought it sounded great. So, I mean, with proper installation and calibration, you can make just about anything function.
What's your title here? I have it for Atmos specialist, mixing engineer. Tracking engineer?
Producer engineer, yeah. I don't know, I can acquire any sort of job title depending on what I'm hired for, whether that's, all the way down to the assisting level, editing, mixing, mastering, producing, recording, sort of whatever you want to do in the studio. I'm your guy.
Let's go. Will you be offering any more workshops, perhaps coaching? We talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have I think 3 or 4 workshops that are coming out for the rest of this year, the back half. We have Vance Paul coming in to do a recording workshop. That'd be pretty cool.
Okay.
I'm going to be teaching a vocal recording workshop.
Oh, snap.
Hasn't been announced yet, but that's going to be really cool.
All right.
So yeah, always be on the lookout for more master classes. We'll always be doing workshops and master classes. Sort of a big part of what we like to do here in the education side of things. So yeah, always be on the lookout at sweetwaterstudios.com. We have a workshops tab. There's always updated with new ones that are coming up, and we're excited to see you.
Hell yeah. You guys heard it here first. Thank you so much, Mr. Pete.
Totally. Yeah, nice meeting you.
Okay, we are here at Studio. Is this Studio A or
Studio B?
Studio B, and then the next
Studio C, and then Studio A is the tracking space.
The tracking space where you guys were tracking a session from last week or something?
Yeah. We had an artist in earlier this week, JJ Wild. She was down from Toronto.
Okay, cool. Talking about Toronto, I didn't know this, but you're from Canada?
I am.
You're the first Canadian person that I know.
Oh, okay.
That's so cool.
Yeah, no, I'm from Winnipeg originally, so further west, but in the center of the country. So
okay, cool. This is, in case you guys don't know it, this is Shawn Deely, and he is the Atmos specialist, chief engineering
at Sweetwater Studios. Yeah,
that is so cool. For how long have you been having that title?
Effectively 5 years, 5 and a bit now that I've been full time at the studio. I've had a few different roles at Sweetwater, but
so did you start at COVID? Like in COVID?
No. So I started at Sweetwater 2017. I came off the road, and I was owning studios, running studios back in Winnipeg, and came in, was working in the studio and some of the events on the campus here. And then Sweetwater and its former owner, Chuck Surak, had bought a venue in town called the Clyde Theater.
Right.
And they tapped me to go production manage.
But that's here in Indiana.
It's here in Fort Wayne. Yeah. So I moved here in 2017.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And then you started learning here. Well, you know a lot of things back then, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I had been touring for 15 years and running commercial studios for the same amount of time. So came in with pretty wide experience in both live and studio sound. So.
And you have a pretty impressive catalog from what I've seen. Of course, you're here working. You know a ton. But Doobie Brothers. You did that one album with Drowning Pool. I don't know if you did more with them, but that's the Bad Reputation one.
That's a Five Finger Death Punch.
Five Finger Death. No, but Drowning Pool as well, right?
No, I have not worked with them.
Oh, okay. That was my hallucination. But CLA, you work with him. He sends you things to mix in Atmos.
Yeah, so we're working together on a bunch of stuff. Most recently, the Doobie Brothers back catalog, and then a bunch of the Five Finger Death Punch re-record stuff. So that's been cool. Like we were listening to a lot of stuff today. I work with this label called Ghostly.
Yes, and
they've been sending a lot of great records through. We just did this thing with this artist Anastasia that just came out.
That we just heard.
It was really cool. Another artist, Yeah Bay, her record just dropped yesterday, and so a lot of like all over the map, like this sort of like indie pop R&B sort of stuff that's going on, and then like obviously Five Finger Death Punch is like pretty hard rock, and then the Doobie Brothers is just like classic material that everyone knows, and so it's pretty wild on a day-to-day basis. We're kind of doing tons of cool stuff.
This is the second time that I've been here. I learned a ton. A lot of people, my mixing friends, they don't even know that Sweetwater has these amazing workshops. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, because it's like I'm trying to raise awareness. I don't know how many people are going to see this. But
yeah, I mean, and we have, I think we're doing 10 or 12 classes this year. I've got a couple in the works right now that we're going to announce for the fall. We've got Vance Powell on the schedule, trying to figure out how we can get people out here, how to get people to do stuff. And we've been needing to get the word out a bit, so I appreciate that.
No, my pleasure. Thank you guys for doing this. And kind of like surface level, what things can people learn at these workshops? Like, for example, the Atmos one.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to give people an opportunity to see pretty much from start to finish getting an Atmos system going, which is what we did yesterday. We set up a temporary Atmos rig and plugged it in and turned it on. We set it up like we would if we were going to work on it.
Right.
Did some basic calibration, and then we listened to music. And that's kind of like one of those things where I know that I haven't seen anyone really kind of like break it down in like digestible ways of doing that. And so with the knowledge that we have in our bigger studios, being able to share that with people that are trying to either get into Atmos or already there and are a little bit confused, it helps. And then also, we're into 500 plus Atmos mixes out of this room. So we have a very buttoned up technique that works really well. It's very repeatable. And so we shared a lot of the knowledge that we've learned, listened to a lot of different things, tried to enlighten people on how this technology works and how they can be better equipped for success. So
and you also like demystify some of the things that a lot of people either get scared to try Atmos or they are misinformed by information that's out there, like internet, Reddit, things like that. I don't even know.
No, I don't know. We've been in it for a while, like specifically Atmos for music. When it rolled out, it was fairly gate kept, and there was a lot of misinformation, and it was like, well, how do you do this and how do you do that? And everyone kind of had a different approach, and we kind of landed on a workflow, and we've also had a lot of guests in our studio, so we've been able to ask a lot of questions, been able to interface with great, super talented people like, Kerry Thomas and Brian Lucy and Mike Miller, and like kind of get, a lot of information and collaborate with some folks and just, build up a really great understanding of what can be done and what's possible, and what to maybe avoid or what to not be too worried about, and then also what I showed you a lot of things today. What we need to pay attention to. So
and it's super cool because the setup that you guys showed us. Of course, this is like a really expensive setup. It sounds amazing, but the one thing that I loved about yesterday, because it's 2 days, you guys were like, all right, let's do it with these cheap. I don't even want to say cheap, but because they get the job done.
Yeah.
But it's a more affordable option of like all the way from the interface, from the speakers and the cables and everything. Even the stands were pretty pricey, but you can get away with the same thing.
Hang it, but like the intention was to do something that was accessible with tools that are at a price point that people can afford and get it going. And like after hearing that, and we'd never made that setup with those speakers before. And after hearing it, I know that I could do really great work with that. I mean, I'm very lucky to work on the speakers that I spend a lot of time in front of, but like, it was pretty interesting to hear something that like competes on a level that like, you can have an affordable Atmos rig, or if you have a great sounding stereo mix room, being able to add some smaller speakers in there to kind of get an understanding. Even if you're not mixing, it's nice to be able to like listen to mixes that other people are doing of your work in your room even. So, I mean, that was an eye-opening experience for us as well, just to kind of like, we went into it not knowing how it would be, and I was very happy on how that came out. So
last question that I have for you. We spoke about this last time. Is it still considered a niche, Atmos mixing, and do you see it growing in the industry?
I mean, I kind of question that every day, but no, it definitely seems like it's kind of stabilized. There's a lot of labels that are asking for the work. There's some artists that are. There's a lot of artists that are still fairly leery of the whole thing, but I've seen more of like an adoption of it in a general sense. There's like less maybe conversations about it. The work's getting done. It's getting better. It's kind of rolling out in a way. And I think that's where we're going to see the success of it, is that the technology that delivers it to the consumer is going to continue to improve. And as long as the mixes keep getting better, then the listener is going to have a better experience with the music. Cool. And as long as that happens, I feel like we're going to have a very long, fun time with Dolby Atmos.
So. Hell yeah. That's what I'm here for. And I believe in what you guys are offering.
No, that's awesome.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for doing this. I know you were probably tired.
It's all good. I appreciate you taking the time.
Mr. Dealey, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Come see these guys. They're amazing.